Now that you've had an introduction to this course and have a good idea of what it's all about, we'll start talking to you about the benefits of using a digital camera over a film camera or instead of a film camera. Number one benefit is that there's no cost of film. You do have to buy film cards, which you see right here. They slide into a slot in the camera and they're removable. You can download them to your computer and erase them and put them back in. So over time, even the cost of the film cards is very low per picture. And you do have the cost of disposable supplies such as ink and paper and CDs for storing your images on. Second, you also have a whole lot more power and flexibility in the way that you use the camera than you would with a typical point-and-shoot film camera. You even have more power and flexibility than you would with virtually any film camera, but we'll get to that in a minute because there's some things that a digital camera can do that a film camera can't. However, just take a look at the number of settings on the dials on the tops of digital cameras. I'm using 2 digital cameras here and sometimes 3 because not every control is in the same place on every digital camera, and of course we have to speak in generalities in this class. But you can see all kinds of information on the settings monitor on top of the camera. You can do all kinds of settings. This is only one of several pages of user settings in the menu on a digital camera. That should give you a rough idea of the kind of flexibility you have available to you. Not only that, but you get exactly what you see. That's an old standby computer phrase. But there's an LCD screen on the back of every digital camera. Well, okay, if you pay little enough for it, you may not get an LCD screen on it, but you these days have to pay less than $150 for the digital camera. Almost all others do have an LCD screen on the back, and you see what you're taking a picture of before you shoot. And then after you shoot, you get instant replay. And usually on the instant replay scene, you see the mode that you were shooting in, the shutter speed you used, the aperture you used, and the resolution of the image, at least. Sometimes you get a lot of other information on that screen too. The fifth advantage that digital cameras have is very flexible digital processing at no extra cost. It may seem that I touched on that before, but what I'm really talking about here is if you had to make all the changes that you can make on your own computer at a lab, it could probably end up costing you hundreds of dollars when you got the print back, changed your mind, had to make a change, and make the print all over again, not to mention the time that's involved. In the meantime, almost every digital camera comes with some sort of digital image processing software, and all of it will do a decent job of cropping the image, helping you to change the exposure and the color balance so at least you get a technically correct picture at the end. And you can also change the size of the picture so you can print it out as a large print or send it as an email, that sort of thing. All of that costs you nothing other than the cost of the camera itself. And finally, digital cameras can do things that a film camera either can't do or you'd have to spend a lot of extra money to get them to do it. For instance, you can take movies that you can use on websites to show little things in action like this train flying past, and you can make rapid-fire still sequences, which only the best professional film cameras are able to do. And one of the coolest things of all about a digital camera is that you can instantly, when you download the images, stitch them together into a panorama if you shoot them the right way, and there'll be a lesson on doing that later on. This is an example of one, so you can see all of San Francisco Bay from one side of Treasure Island to the other, Marin County and downtown San Francisco, and the Oakland Bay Bridge is all right there for you to look at.